Vanakkam and Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to this video by the Saivaism Karagam on the nature of Padi, Pasu and Pasam, Part 1. The information in this video is extracted from a basic text on Saiva Siddhandam by Mahavidwan Siddhanda Kalaimani Muthu Perumpulavar Dr. C. Arunai Vadivel Mudliyar. An English translation is rendered by Thiagarajan Govender and narrated by Santhalinga Adigal. Chapter 1 Pasa Ilakkanam, the nature of bondage. Pasam or bondage means to tie. Thalai in Saiva literature also refers to pasam. Thalai refers to handcuffs, chains, and other restricting material which limit the movement of prisoners. In Siddhantic terms, Thalai or pasam, which is bondage, limits the intelligence and actions of the souls. Bondage experience and action. From our experiences, we do not get to do as we please. This is known as Vinetare or bondage in action. The root cause of bondage is intellectual bondage. The cause of bondage in action is actually intellectual bondage. We must think about doing something before actually doing it. This means that thought comes before action. Therefore, the root cause of all the fruits of our actions we receive from doing something is actually the intellect rather than the action. Arivum and Unarvum, knowledge and experience. The Tamil word Arivu means knowledge and Unarvu means experience. There is a subtle difference in their meanings. Arivu means to have knowledge on something. Unarvu does not stop only with having knowledge of something but involves knowing that entity by becoming one with it, meaning experiencing it. Hence, Arivu is knowledge gained from study and Unarvu is knowledge gained from experience. From the above, it is clear that mere knowledge of an entity is incomplete. Such knowledge is imperfect and limited. Only when the soul becomes one with an entity can one experience the true nature of that entity. Anavamalam, the cause of ignorance. Anavam is an entity which prevents the soul, which has the ability to know, from knowing. It prevents the appearance of knowledge, thereby causing ignorance. Anavam is the cause and ignorance is the effect. Anavam is known as Mudal Thade, meaning the first bondage. The two states of Anavam. Anavam has two types of powers, namely Avaraga Sati and Adoniyamiga Sati, and therefore causes ignorance in two ways. The Avaraga Sati of Anavam causes ignorance on its own, and the Adoniyamiga Sati of Anavam joins with Kanmam and Maye and creates a delusion. When Avaraga Sati of Anavam causes ignorance on its own, it taints the soul totally, thereby preventing the soul from knowing anything. When the Adoniyamiga Sati of Anavam joins with Karmam and Maya and causes ignorance, it prevents the soul from experiencing the true nature of an entity, thereby causing a delusion. This state of Avaraga Sati is compared to an eye that is totally covered by darkness. Even though the eye has the ability to see, it will not see if it is covered by darkness. Likewise, even though the soul has the ability to know, it will not know if it is totally tainted by the avaraga sati of Anavam. In this state, the avaraga sati of Anavam prevents the appearance of knowledge. In the state of Adonyamiga Sati, it is compared to an eye that sees a rope in dim light and causes one to incorrectly conclude that one has seen a snake. In this state, even though some limited knowledge is acquired through visualizing a snake instead of a rope, the acquired knowledge is imperfect. The real thing, which was the rope, is not experienced. The Adonyamiga Sati of Anavam thus causes a delusion by concealing the truth. Anavamalam. Anavam means to make small. The extensive intelligence of the soul is limited or made small by Anavam. The cause of bliss is knowledge, and the cause of misery is ignorance. One can easily find their path where there is light or knowledge. However, where there is darkness or ignorance, we struggle to find our path. It is clear from the above that the root cause of all suffering is ignorance, which is caused by Anavam. Therefore, where there is no ignorance, there is no suffering. Besides Saivaism, no other religion speaks of Anavam. Other religions believe that ignorance is caused by Maya, which is the body and world, and Kadmam, our actions. This is not true because Maya and Kadmam help the soul to learn. We learn when we are conscious of the body and world, and when we are not conscious, we do not learn. Kadmam, or our actions, helps us to learn, as we learn from our actions. Therefore, they do not cause ignorance. When did Anavam come to the soul? Anavam did not come to the soul at a particular time. Whenever the soul existed, Anavam also existed with it as a natural taint. Whenever brass existed, the dullness also existed. Likewise, whenever the soul existed, Anavam also existed. The nature of the soul is intelligence, and it has the ability to know. Thus, we cannot say that the nature of the soul is also ignorance, which is the absence of knowledge. If ignorance was the nature of the soul should be an unintelligent thing, meaning something that cannot know, and not an intelligent thing, which is something that can know. Therefore, the soul is an intelligent entity, and the ignorance it possesses is caused by Anavam. The power of Anavam. Anavam has a limitless number of powers, and these powers have various lifespans. When the power affecting a particular soul dies, that soul attains liberation. This is why all souls do not attain liberation at the same time, but at different times. Anavam in the state of liberation. Anavam is eternal, meaning there is no beginning or end. How then is the soul relieved from Anavam? And how does the soul attain liberation, one may ask? Even though Anavam has no end, its powers perish over time. This is because it is unintelligent. Anything that is the effect of an unintelligent entity will perish over time. Intelligent entities do not perish. When the power of Anavam dies, the soul then attains liberation and will eternally remain in the bliss of Sivan. This brings us to the end of part 1. Thank you for watching. Mika Nandri, Vanakkam.